This week I've been thinking about how people perceive themselves and how they project out the person that they would want to be. Welcome to this episode of the Limitation is a Mirage podcast. So what do I mean by how people perceive themselves and how they project themselves to be? So first of all, whenever you think about how you perceive yourself, it's down to actually physically, like when you look in the mirror, do you see a strong person, a weak person? Do you see a fat person, a skinny person, or what you would consider to be a normal person? And then how does that make you feel? Whatever it is that you see, how do you actually feel about that? And again, a lot of people don't really check in too much with their feelings. They look at something that makes them feel bad, it makes them feel good, and they just wander off. They don't zone in on why it makes them feel bad, why it makes them feel good. And the reason to do that is so that you can improve upon the good and get rid of the bad. So this got me thinking of Fight Club. So whenever you watch Fight Club, it is, spoiler alert, it is about a guy who imagines a version of himself. And at the time, he doesn't even know that he's imagining a version. He thinks he's real. And it's this cooler guy that's, well, he's a bit mental. So if you're going to imagine someone, you probably shouldn't go that mental. But like, he's cooler than him. He's got friends and skills. And he just can interact with people far better than the guy that's envisioning him. And that's who he sees himself wanting to become. And it takes a long time for him to realize that this guy isn't actually real. It's just a figment of his imagination. And then he realizes he's went a bit too far and tries to get rid of him. So that's the basis of that movie. But whenever I watched it, I just thought about that. Whenever I first started training in martial arts, I saw a version of me that I wanted to get to. When I started to do this weight gain journey, when I wanted to go from skinny to strong, from sluggish to strong, I've seen what I wanted myself to look like, and I'm not there yet, and I'm still able to visualize that and see it and go forward. And I use it, and every time I'm in the gym, I use it to visualize the set, the workout, the routine, whatever it is that I'm about to do. I visualize that, the version of me who's already succeeded in it, who's already got the gains, who's already stronger. And then when I go and do it, I just think, well, this is easy. I've already done that. So whenever you think about yourself, how do you see yourself? So if I would love to hear from you. I love getting feedback, but I'd love to hear, whenever you look at yourself, do you see yourself as the person that you want to be, the person that you aim to be at this stage in your life? Or are there things that you want to change? So I'm not sitting here saying that you should change everything about your life, but if there are things that you don't feel happy with or comfortable with, maybe you should change it. Maybe now is the time to, the world's already gone to fuck anyway, so you may as well just see what you can do for yourself, start improving upon yourself. Maybe you want to become more confident, and a way to do that is to improve your posture, to improve your strength, to improve the way you feel about yourself. Maybe you want to be a better writer, and the best way to do that is to start writing stuff. Maybe reach out to people like Iain, who I talked with on the last podcast, or the podcast before the last podcast. But like, ask for advice and reach out to those sort of people. Maybe you want to be a faster runner, so reach out to people like Shane and learn how to run faster. Like, everything that you want to do and want to achieve has to start with you thinking first. Like, where are you in your life in relation to where you want to be? And then you're going to find someone that's already been on the journey. That's just further ahead. Whenever I first started teaching in OMA, I remember Iain saying to me, again, I did a podcast with Iain, so you can look into that as well. I'll link all these in the description so you can catch up on them if you want. But whenever I first trained with Iain and I passed my grade, and he was like, right, now you can start teaching a class, I was like, well, I don't know that much. Like, I've only been doing it I think it was about 6 months, and I've traveled back and forward, so I haven't got a lot of training or experience. Like, what am I going to teach? And he explained to me that as long as I was one step ahead of them, I could always teach them. So it's why I've always taught in that way. I never think like I am greater than anyone, or I'm far better, I've surpassed anyone. I just think if I know slightly more than you in any given subject, then I can teach you about that subject. And that's what I think holds a lot of people back. They wait till everything's perfect. Like, they want to get the perfect video, the perfect podcast, the perfect course description and lineup. They want everything to fall into place perfectly. And then because of that, they end up not doing anything. So they don't get anywhere with it. And one of the things that Micheal, one of my other mentors, talks about a lot is that, I'm going to paraphrase it because I always get it wrong and I always forget about it, but it's something like version 1 is better than version none, which I actually think I got spot on this time for a change. But what he means by that is just getting out there first and then looking back on it and watching it and growing from that is going to be much better and much more beneficial for you than doing nothing and just hoping that you somehow magically get better. Again, Mark, we talk about that a lot with my training. Every time, it's like a running joke all the time where I be like, now I'm able to do, like, at the minute I'm working on a back strict press, but behind my neck. And when I first started, I was doing maybe about the base of my skull or just a wee bit higher. And now I'm able to touch down on the shoulders and press up with a heavier weight than when I started, doing half the movement. Well, not half the movement, but like 4 inches of less depth than I'm getting now. 4 inches is a lot according to some people. But the thing behind it is that, like, we always talk about it must just be magic, but it's a running joke whenever in fact it's just consistently training, consistently aiming towards what I'm doing, do as best as I can now, and then improve upon that every single time. So how does this relate to Fight Club? Why was Fight Club in my head? One, because I released a wee video about Fight Club that is one of my most favourite videos. It's only 23 seconds, but I found it very entertaining for myself, and some other people liked it too. But he was perceiving the world was, he couldn't achieve anything, that the world was just shit and he was just a weak person. And then he invented this strong person who could go out and fight and cause scenes, and it got out of hand, obviously, when they started blowing up half the town or whatever. But before that stage, whenever he's just living a better life, he's become a version of himself that he never thought he would be. He stands up for himself. He's stronger mentally and physically. And that's what I see myself doing every time I go out and train, or every time I prep a meal or take a rest day or anything. I'm working towards a better version of myself, even when I do these podcasts. Every time I'm playing around with lighting, I'm playing around with different ideas to try to make it better. So for the listener and the viewer, it's a better experience. And for me, when I look back on it, I actually see my progression. Like, if you could see some of my first videos, just go back and look at them. They're terrible. The very first video I had like a bit of a beard and everything. This is the first time I haven't shaved before a podcast as well. I just haven't had any time today to do that. I don't know why I actually shaved before it. I think because I wasn't doing stage work or getting out and working with actual people, that I treated the podcast and my live web class on a Wednesday as being in front of real people. So I shaved like I would if I was going on stage, but it's completely unnecessary, and I just didn't have the time, so I wasn't going to force myself to do it today. I didn't want to miss a bit and wreck my hair. So what I'm trying to get through today, I suppose, is I want you to take a look at yourself, where you are in your life, where you want to be in your life, and decide if you've done what you want to do, or if you want to improve. And then whenever you decide that you want to improve, which I hope, because no matter where you are, you can still improve, can still get better. You don't have to be too forceful with it upon yourself, like we are in crazy times at the minute. So maybe just becoming better at relaxing, maybe avoiding some of the news, some of the Facebook. Like, I hate Facebook now. When I go on it, it's mostly to work. And when I do decide to scan down through the feed, it's just madness. People talking about shit that they have no understanding of. I'm not saying I'm an expert at it, because I try my best to avoid everything. But it's just full of negativity. It's completely unnecessary for your life. Like, find videos like this that are trying to help you be more positive and trying to help you make changes in your life that are going to be more positive, and spend your time with them instead. So look at yourself, decide if you are who you want to be, or if you are where you want to be. Reach out to people that are further along the journey. And again, it doesn't have to be like, it could be just your mate that you know, your mate or your brother or your sister, or people that have been through the same sort of shit you've been through, but they seem to be dealing with it better than you. Then find out why or how, or maybe you'll actually find out that they're not and they're really good at hiding it, and then you can come together to move forward in the journey that way. Or you'll find out they do something simple, like every morning they show gratitude, or they get outside in their garden, or they go near water, or whatever. Like, it could be anything. Hopefully it's not something negative that they do, like take a shitload of drugs and just go mental, and that's their blowout. You don't really want to follow that lead, but finding out is like why these people are able to come across like they're dealing with the things better than you are whenever you've went through the same sort of stuff is a good place to put yourself, so that you know what you need to do, or you know that you can be capable of moving forward just like they are. And if all else fails, just be like Fight Club, start a cult, start making soap, start, fighting each other. Record it, tag me so I can watch it. So that's all I wanted to get through today. Just that I think it's really important for people to look at themselves, see where they are in their life and what they want to do to improve, what they can do to improve, and then be willing to reach out to people that are going to help you. So thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I love all the feedback that I'm getting and the comments and shares and everything. And if you want to help me to improve what I'm doing or to reach more people, then hit the subscribe button, the like button, follow, comment, share, tweet, review, buy my book, other things that will help me grow. So thanks again. Have an amazing day, whatever you get up to, and I will speak to you again soon.